everything you need to know about products and services that can improve your life. This is Experts on Call on CL 650.
Yeah, you're listening to StrataLife on CL 650. I'm Zach Spencer. Joining me today on StrataLife is Dan O'Hearn, President of Key Pacific Property Management, Alex Limongelli, Public Sector Manager, Waste Management, and Kim Wallace, Vice President of Design Roofing. Now, Kim, over to you for this one. You mentioned to me in the break that we should bring up something about handymen for the building. So do most, Dan, you can jump in on this. Do most strata buildings have sort of a go-to guy that fixes small things around the building?
Yeah, it depends on the building. Certainly a large strata corporation, with over 150 units, most certainly usually will. And a townhouse site where there's lots of stuff to fix up or gutters to clean, they would be there. But I know Kim's concern is we don't want these guys going up
on the roof.
On the
No,
roofs.
definitely not. We do come across this, that some stratas will say that they use a handyman to do the roofing work. But it's a huge liability to the strata because these guys are not trained in fall protection or safety. And if something were to happen, not only is it terrible for the employee, but also as the employer, they're liable. There's cases that it's actually gone to criminal court because of that, because you're sending somebody that's not trained. As well as when we're up there doing the debris cleanup or drain cleaning, you're not just removing the debris, you're checking the membrane, you're checking the drains, make sure all the components. A handyman doesn't have this experience, and they don't know if they scrape the roof and accidentally take the granules off. Or
they think they're cleaning it up when they're damaging the roof. Right?
Exactly. The granules protect the roof from the UV rays, where somebody that doesn't have the experience won't know that.
I always wondered why shingles have the little bits of gravel on there. Well, that's
exactly
that's for
it.
UV?
UV rays, yes. The sun is so bad for most
Everything,
things.
yeah.
Everything.
Your skin, everything, yeah.
When the granules start to go, the roof deteriorates so much faster. So that's a common repair, is adding more granules to roofs.
So anybody that's listening that lives in a strata, the handyman shouldn't go on the roof.
No, definitely not. Nobody should go on the roof that isn't properly trained with fall protection.
Even if it's a flat roof?
Even if it's a flat roof, you can still fall off.
Yeah. But then that comes back to he's up there on the edge of the roof doing the gutters. That's another issue too.
Yeah, and there's companies that specialize in gutter cleaning as well. I mean, you have to have a best practices, and you have to understand the building and the limitations of the caretaker, right? Okay,
now we'll go to waste management. So you mentioned there's new waste programs coming into play. Before we get into that, on your final thoughts on that, what cannot go in any of the bins that are going to be? You've got the green waste, that's the biodegradable waste. You've got the paper. You've got the glass. You've got regular garbage. What can't go in any of those?
That's a good
computers
question.
And things, electronics, right?
That's right. Electronics, any type of furniture, of course. Any type of organic material should be diverted from your garbage. Make sure you have an organics program in place. Like styrofoam, for example, is another thing that cannot go into your recycling bin, but you can take it free of charge to any of the return-it depots. They accept that material on behalf of Multi-Materials BC.
See, I had no idea styrofoam, because you buy a computer or anything and it's packed with those.
With styrofoam, and people break it up into little pieces and they put it in garbage bags. And really, it should go to a return-it depot, same place where you take your bottles.
Okay, now one of the things is. I know this because I have a dead 55-inch TV in my basement, right? So it's a nice flat screen when they kind of first came out, but it ran its course. It's still in my basement because I got to get rid of this thing.
Right.
So what do you say to somebody maybe who's older, doesn't drive, or maybe somebody doesn't have a car, and they've got to get rid of the flat screen TV, or even one of the big old cube sort of style TVs, or they've got a computer screen or electronics? Like, can you work with the strata to, like you said, have a day to get rid of these things?
Yeah. We like to do these. We introduced this new program, was spring and fall cleanup events, because we did notice a lot of this material going in the garbage. So in essence, you just basically plan 2 days out of the year, and you have everybody, just like a spring cleanup. Everybody will go through their house and clean up all the things that they don't need, like a television, and it would all go into one bin. And then we have arrangements with a facility that will separate everything and sort it out. But any type of electronic can be taken to a return-it depot free of charge.
But thing's heavy.
That's not a stewardship program.
Yeah.
That's an Encore program, and that's Encore is the organization that actually manages all the refundable bottles as well.
So what would you say to somebody like who has my old 55-inch flat screen? It's heavy too. Like the new one I got weighs a third of the weight of the old one, and it's bigger too. So how, who do you call?
The first place I would check is with your municipality, because a lot of municipalities offer a large item pickup program right at the curb. So you can call and schedule either a couch or a fridge or even a 55-inch super heavy TV to be put at the curb. You just put it at the curb and then they'll come by and pick it up with a separate kind of truck. So check your own solid waste plan in the city of Vancouver to see if they offer that service, which might be an easy way to do it. Otherwise, you do have to take it to a return it depot. You can't put it any other way. You got to take it somewhere where their electronics will be recycled.
All right. So the new programs that are kind of give us the 30,000 foot again on what's coming for multifamily.
Yeah. So watch out for the glass bins coming in, and buy smart. If there's a ketchup bottle in glass and there's a ketchup bottle in a plastic bottle, buy the one that's in the plastic bottle. We're trying to eliminate the glass because it does contaminate all the other recyclable material. It's actually harder to recycle, harder to process. So watch out for the glass bins, and there's going to be lots of information left at the buildings. There's brochures on the new recycling program. Lots of stuff can be put into your recycling bin that could not be put otherwise. So make sure you take one, read it thoroughly, and just do the right thing for your building and for yourself, actually. That's all we can ask.
Okay. Now we're going to switch back to property management and talking about roofing. So you have a special levy that unfortunately people are going to have to pay. Okay, roof needs to be repaired. Everybody's got to pony up and put some money in to get this thing fixed. So what is the process around a special levy?
Yeah, I think my concern when that question came up there is all the corporation. Everyone wants to do this for as little as possible. That's understandable. But the worst thing you can do is underfund it. So when you have your quotations in there, talk to the contractor what a contingency might be. Some other things you want to consider is tardy owner payment. Sometimes there's going to be 4 or 5 people. There's no way they're going to pay this, but you're going to have to pad your levy a little bit to cover that. And I really encourage having the levies written so that you have the money in full before you start the project. A lot of corporations are anxious to get going with the work, and you haven't collected the full levy, and now you're having trouble meeting the contractor's draws. So that's a big mistake that's going to get you in some trouble.
Now, Kim, on the roofing business, you're there to repair or to take a roof off and put a brand new one on. Can they come to you, as in the Strata come to you and ask for some kind of financing? Is that pretty typical?
It's becoming more typical, I think. We do it quite a bit with some of our really good customers. Is a Strata, let's say they did a special levy or they are doing a special levy and they're hoping to maybe pay it out over a year, over 2 years, depending on the size of the project. And we definitely offer options for that to help it out, because it is a huge investment for somebody. So we want to make it as easy as possible for them.
Is that more palatable for the owners to say we're going to pay a little bit more every month for 2 years?
It could be. You get into complications, though, in that if you have an owner who doesn't make his contribution to that levy, then all the other owners are still liable, because the agreement, I assume, is with the corporation, not with individual owners.
Yes, definitely.
Right? So if you have 20, 30 owners who decide they're going to default on this, well, the ones who have been paying are going to have to ante up more, too. So the most ideal, simplistic way is everyone goes to their own bank, arranges their own private financing, and then provides a check for the special levy amount.
What do you get some people that are at the end of their ability to borrow?
Yeah.
Like they've borrowed too much from the bank, and the bank says, we're not going to give you any more.
Yeah, certainly we've had some buildings like that, and in those cases we arranged the financing because it was the best alternative.
Right. So the building can then finance.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, interesting. All right, so interesting times in Strata living, and I like your quote about the buildings with the people that not in it.
A lot easier.
So there's some people would say that we have buildings like that in Vancouver, where we have all these owners that don't live in the building.
I like to see them. Yeah.
They're all tigers. They're all tigers.
So what's the? We have the what are the P's around Strata living? Pets, people.
prostitutes.
No, pools. Parking.
Pools, parking. There's lots of peas.
Well, thank you to my guest, Dan O'Hearn. You just heard their president of Key Pacific Property Management, and they're managers of buildings, and they bring in the other experts, the contractors that do things like waste management. So thanks to Alex Limongelli for being here, public sector manager at Waste Management, and Kim Wallace, vice president of Design Roofing. All experts in your fields. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
It's been great having you here on StrataLife. I'm Zach Spencer. That's all the time we have for this show. We'll speak to you next time on CL 650.